Hey, David, Dennis Feiner, CFO. I want to go. Hey, one more video for you here. Hey, so this is what I was talking about yesterday. In our daily field reports, those guys have access from the field, and they're not going to need time very long individually because it's probably the only thing they're going to be doing. But call our daily field reports. So I've got one filled out here, but literally it'll put today's date in it if they do it the right day. They're going to put the job number that they worked on, kind of a brief description of what they did. They're going to pick their name from the employee list so they know we know who filled this thing out. May or may not be important to you, but you know what the temperature range was, what the weather's like, a couple of user-defined fields. Sometimes people like to put the inspector's name in there, something like that. And very simply, here's the employees that worked. You know what? I want to add another one. I just go to list. I'm going to add, I'll add a Walter here. So, you know, Walter, what did he work on today? You know, he worked on, actually, since it may or may not know the code, I just go in here. And I was working on a mechanical item, and today I was installing a laboratory sink. It's regular pay. He's defaults to a journeyman, but if I wanted to go to a specific prevailing wage rate, I'd have those on my table. I add that, and he works 7 hours. Okay, that's all he's got to do. He's going to put the employees in. He's going to put the cost code in. He's going to put whether it's regular time, overtime, or premium pay, and the pay group will default from the employee's file, but if he wants to override it, he can if he's doing something other than what he normally does, and the hours that he worked. Pretty simple. If you want, and you probably won't do this, if you want to know what other subs were out there, if you're using your own equipment, you could actually list your equipment in here as well. I do that. Down the bottom, if there was an accident, you can document the accident as well. So I have those things done. I'm not going to say this, I'm going to use my old one. But anyway, that's all he has to do. In addition, let me see about it. You can save templates. I don't know if I have one here, so let me let's go to new here. You could save a template. So if Pedro's or John's or Bill's crew's constantly the same, and he does the same thing over and over again, I could just load a template. It'll load his guys out there. And typically in the standard cost code that they work on, you can always override that, and it's always 8 hours. All that's in there. And if he's always going to work on the same job for a month at a time, you could default that in, or you could save it with the job name blank. But you can save templates to make the guy's data entries even easier. So the reason that you do it here is if I go to payroll, well, I'm just going to go to do it the easy way. I go to payroll and I go to payroll records. One of my choices, instead of filling out the time cards like you are today, is to import that information straight from the daily field report. So there's nothing else you need. You know what job he worked on, the cost code he worked on, what pay rate he's supposed to be paid, and the hours he's worked. All done. Imports in here, you're ready to run payroll. Anyway, pretty simple. Teaching those guys how to do those daily field reports, not a big deal. They pick it up pretty quick. And by having access to the hosting, not having a server, not having to worry about backups, they have access 24/7 from any, and I say any, I have not found anything that doesn't work, internet device. So if you want to buy these guys like a tablet, or if you wanted to do it from their phone, and by the way, you could do it from a phone. Phone's kind of small with those big fingers, so maybe a small cheap tablet that they can hotspot. That's what my son does. He works in construction as well. He basically has, I think, a Sprint phone, and then he's got a tablet, and then he basically just hotspots off of his phone to the tablet, and it works just great for him. So anyway, hopefully that helps, but that should easily be done. And that hosting is, like I said, we've been using those guys for almost 18 months now. I have 2 hosting services we use. That's the one that I trust my business on. The ladies in the office here, they don't get on there. They get on their computer, but the first thing they do in the morning is they click a link for a website. They get on that website, and they're now, they click that link, and they're now signed into the hosting server, which happens to be, in this case, in Orange County, but it could be anywhere. But they're not working on their desktops, and they're not working on any server in here. Everything is remote for us, which allows me to work anywhere I am. Anywhere I'm on vacation or on business, I can just get my iPad out and start working. Anyway, I hope that helps. If you have any questions, let's maybe schedule a call for Monday. My calendar right now is pretty wide open at this point. My name's Dennis, as you know, 800-659-5851. Thanks.